How's it sounding over there?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Good evening.
I think you should use it to pinch your nose.
Man, there's
Our brains finally feel not like mush after endless hardwood calls. We'll get started here in 1 second, y'all. That's a tax prep ad. It's it's heard us talking. It's spying on us.
here we go.
All right, let's get the board lined up
Do I hear
here,
do I hear audio in here?
and we will.
Hello, hello.
Oh, it's got us. It's got us. All right, here we go. Thanks you guys for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night, and we are gonna fire it up right now. Thank you so much for being with us on a Tuesday night from the basement. It's been a while, guys. Appreciate everyone hanging with us in a different gymnasium last week over at American University for the WCAC basketball boys and girls championships. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, this is the WCAC Spectacular. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
And definitely forgive us. We don't like these seasons to end, so we tend to just take our time closing that final page and closing the book on a ridiculous WCAC basketball season, of which a couple teams are still out there with a couple games going on, but you know what I'm talking about. That tournament, that's the real deal as far as I'm concerned.
He's Tim Strachan.
It was awesome. It was an awesome 2 days for us on the girls and boys side. Kevin, you said it, ridiculous. It was ridiculous basketball. It was so much fun to be a part of. Congratulations to all the guys and all the girls that participated and on your seasons. And it was just so much fun to be a part of, man.
We're going to reminisce and recollect. Tonight's show will be dedicated to the 2019 WCAC tournament that was. And in the last couple years, we established a little bit of a tradition, and we got to the end of a long rope last Monday, and so we didn't have any show last Tuesday night. So the tradition in my mind is still standing. Why don't we go ahead and hit send here? That on the Tuesday after
Hello.
the championship,
Coach,
we get to talk to Coach Mike Jones, DeMatha Stags leader, amazing program champion, 500 game winner. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, Coach, this is Ken, and I'm so proud of you and so thankful for the chance to have you on tonight. Join us in the basement. Appreciate it, man.
No, thanks for having me. I don't know if Strachan told you, I was a little upset with you guys, man.
I know we.
Yeah, I told them. You
Yeah.
gave me the business.
I was expecting my opportunity last Tuesday. I felt like y'all lied to me.
Well, you started the whole tradition, Coach, because 2 years ago you
Yeah.
were on
Yeah.
the very next night after the
Exactly.
WCAC.
That's what I'm saying. I thought, I was like, yo, what happened?
He was ready to be here in person in the basement. He and his coaching staff had to go on assignment tonight and do a little reconnaissance for an upcoming a tournament, so he couldn't be here. We're sorry, Coach. We're not like we used to be. We're a little
We've
tired.
gotten old.
We're a little tired, man.
all right, let these guys speak for themselves. I got outvoted. I don't know if you noticed me and my Mike Jones pom-poms on the sidelines post-game last Monday night.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I got so exhausted, I felt like I was back at Metropolitan Area Basketball Camp begging you to put me in the game, Coach.
Oh, that's funny.
In all disclosure, wives had a say in things too. So
That's true. It's always true. They always have says in all things. I
we
don't
all
know
have
how to
we all
say
have
that.
bosses we have to report to, Mike. Right?
Yeah, yes, we do. Yeah, I got one myself.
Well, let's start it out the right way. Congratulations to DeMatha Stags, an amazing season, and more importantly, an amazing second season, which is the WCAC tournament. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like watching it from our side. Talk to us maybe to get things started, Coach, on standing on that sideline with this group of guys this time around.
It was definitely a very rewarding experience. I know, the season we had didn't get off to the best of starts, but our guys really worked hard. They grinded and they stuck together, and I could not imagine a better group of kids to be able to watch them achieve all their goals. It was unbelievable. I'm so proud of them.
At what point? Because you said it didn't start off right. I mean, you guys only lost 4 games, right?
Yeah,
No, 3. Come on now,
Three,
don't do
three.
that.
You only lost 3 games. So I don't know how bad it could have started off, but what
Well, we
was
were
it?
4-2, and it's rare that we lose
Ah,
2 games. Really before the turn of the new year.
right.
So, but we were 4-2 before we won 22 straight.
And
But
what do you think it was that made you guys go on that run? What was the
I
turning
don't know.
point?
One of them we played Sunrise Christian and Montverde, both 2 top 5 teams. Those were the 2 losses, so they weren't on our schedule anymore. So I'm sure that helped. Uh, but I mean, with the schedule we played, and I actually asked my team at some point in time, close to the end of the season, actually right after our last game, right after senior night, we were 27-3, and I asked them, like, did they, looking back on it in the fall, did they think that at this point we would be 27-3? And you got a mixed bag of answers. With the schedule we played, a lot of people would not have pegged us to win 30 games this year. And again, our kids worked so hard. They again, it was just a pleasure to be able to watch them develop leadership wise, the young guys getting play. I can't say enough about some of our guys that maybe a lot of people didn't think were ready for the spotlight of DeMatha and the WCAC, but they stepped up. I could not be more proud of them, like I said.
Coach, you went 11 deep.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's amazing.
that's it's something that I think, you know, I, we have a program, Tim. You know this.
Yeah.
Like we have a program, and we're not just a team. And a lot of people maybe question us playing so many guys this year, but we were playing to win this year, obviously, but also the more experience our younger guys could get this year, the better we're going to be next year. So, and that was always in the back of my mind. And I know a lot of times people are like, well, why the heck is he putting him in now? And why is he leaving him out there? But, I got some guys that now they've gone through the rigors of a WCAC season. They're going to be that much more prepared next year. And, we hope to have another great season again in a year.
I think, Coach, also you playing that deep of a roster that certainly helped you out late in the season this year, because I think the big difference in the tournament was some of these younger guys, guys not named Earl Timberlake or Hunter Dickinson, that just completely produced at a tremendously high level during crunch time and tournament weekend. I mean, Jordan Hawkins, I couldn't get enough of him. Man, that guy is just, his game is super smooth. He produced at a level. I mean, Elijah Hawkins as well. Those two guys were coming at these guys in the beginning of that championship game. It was those two with the 1-2 punch before the big guys got a chance to even get warm. Talk to me
Yep.
about those two guys, man.
Yep. I think, and I will be able to talk about Jordan forever, but I mean, one of the guys that I'm the most proud of is Elijah, because he is one of those guys that everybody was questioning our point guard play going into the season. A lot of people did not have the faith in Elijah that he'd be able to be a starting point guard at a DeMatha or at a WCAC school. And I mean, I think he did more than prove a lot of people that, that's why you don't listen to everybody else's criticism or their opinions. And Elijah didn't do anything but just believe in himself. He is one of the best, if not the best, defensive point guards we've had in a long time. And then his ability to just take care of the ball and create shots for himself and for others. Like, I think a lot of people owe Elijah an apology because their opinion of him was so low, and he made everybody kind of eat crow on that.
Coach, I think we're going to dance all around it because there's obviously some guys we have to talk about. But coming out of the WCAC season, now you're done with one of the most important high school basketball tournaments in the country, and all eyes are on you. A lot of players who want to be part of your program. We saw they were all in the stands, pretending like they were Earl Timberlake, as well as other guys. One thing I like to ask coaches, between now and the beginning of next season, and you lose some awesome guys that we'll get to, who's the guy that you point to when new players come in and new guys are trying to fit into your program? Who's the guy that you point to and you say, do it like that guy?
We won't do that with anybody. I think the main thing for us is everybody's kind of seen the way our program's gone. This is the third year in a row we've won 30 games, and that's not bragging, but that is
That's a
the
fact.
guys that have left the program have prepared the guys that are still in the program, and this year will be no different. Our five seniors have done a great job at leadership this year, and the guys that are going to be with us next year will have learned so much from them. And then the seniors next year, they'll be in the same situation where they will truly, truly, truly be able to lead the guys because they've been led. And again, that's what a program's all about. I think our guys really embrace just the fact that we are a program and we're not a team that just pops up once every now and then, that we try to sustain our success.
Now that leads me to a question I was wondering about with Hunter and Earl this year. It seemed like they were definitely the vocal leaders, and also showed by example in the way that they played. It's always hard, and as a coach, you want to know who's going to fill that role next year. Do you know who that is yet?
No. And honestly, I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit, Tim.
Okay.
Our leader this year, vocally and energy wise, was Donovan Miller.
Oh wow.
Hunter Dickinson and Earl, they
I didn't know
both.
Hunter got let anybody get a word in edgewise.
Oh no, no, Donovan Miller was like, I mean, we literally fed off. Excuse me, fed off of him in terms of if he was in a great mood, dancing around, which was most of the time,
Yeah.
our team was just on another level. He impacted us so much with just his demeanor, his body language, everything, and it became something that our team really embraced, and Donovan really embraced. But I think everybody kind of knew what we were going to get with Earl and Hunter,
Hmm.
so their leadership was obviously always there, never wavered. But we truly fed off of Donovan Miller.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that. That's the Gerardo Parra coming off the bench, getting that base hit. It's not like the guy
There
doesn't
you
get
go.
run,
Right.
and
There you
and
go.
somebody to lead that championship to have a little personality to kind of keep it
I've
loose
used that
in
in the
those big
speech that
time
I've done, man.
situations.
It's a great example.
But I got to ask Coach the most important question of the night: that fresh blue suit you had on Championship
It was
Monday, Coach.
it was
Uh,
It took
tight.
it took one on the chin post game, and what
He's
yes,
got
it
gear
did.
game, man.
Yes, it did.
As-
And then I saw one of my buddies said it was definitely a rookie move, but me not taking it off before I went into the locker room. So,
how's that suit
um,
doing, Coach?
actually, it's in the cleaners.
All right.
Because it was
Yet to
sweet.
be determined, huh?
I definitely
That's a
sing
good one.
at our banquet after the season's over with. I'm definitely gonna present my senior class with a nice little present in an envelope. It's gonna be the bill from the cleaners. So
All right. Well, thoughts and prayers for the blue suit because that's there's some gentlemen took it to a different level this weekend and ladies on the sidelines, but Coach Jones he's not coming. He's not coming halfway.
No
There
way.
was no half stepping on the sidelines this 2020 tournament season.
And let's talk about those guys because we can't just not talk about Earl and Hunter. First question: Can Hunter possibly figure out a way to get a fifth term as class president even after he graduates? Because I think it'd be interesting to find out. And also, how I don't. Both of those two make such a huge impact on the game. We're not going to talk about who's better and who's more important. But what Earl did in that championship game was a sight to behold, and it is. It doesn't take away from what anyone else did. It only adds to kind of the legend of Earl Timberlake that's kind of been in this basement for the last 2.5 years. He's so much fun to watch, Coach. I'm jealous of you just because you get to see him play. I can't wait to watch him some more. I can't believe I'm gonna look into the Miami schedule and actually watch Hurricanes games, but I'm going to. So between him and Hunter, what a ride! It just has
yeah.
to be so much fun to play with to coach and have a year with guys like that.
So let's start with Earl. So this what I'm getting ready to say is I think just truly the epitome of who he is. So we had practice today. We had all of last week off. We started back up practicing yesterday. So today is our second day of practice.
Whoa. A
And
week off?
yeah, man.
Man,
But we had
getting
a
soft,
lot of
Coach.
stuff going on. So uh, we didn't play in the Maryland State tournament this year, the Maryland Private School tournament. So, and I mean, the grind that we went through, the guys earned it. They deserved it. I was going through withdrawal because I love coaching so much, but I think I would have been a fool to try to drag those guys in there last week. So, but back to Earl, he literally, and this is not, I mean, it's just so happens that today, but he's the last guy in the gym today. Like literally, I'm sitting there and I'm answering text messages and I'm going over stuff with my managers, and we finished practice at 5:30. I look up, it's like 6:45. There's a game I need to get to by 7, and Earl Timberlake is still in the gym with one of the managers rebounding for him. To the point where I had to ask Earl, like, "Hey man, like we gotta go." So but that's who he is. Like anything he's got. Like I mean, he's been at DeMatha for 3 years. He's won 96 games in 3 years, with a chance to win a few more. Like who does that? Like that is unbelievable. The show he put on in crunch time in the championship game. But if everybody remembers his sophomore year, he pretty much did the same thing. Hit 2 big threes, made a couple of defensive stops. Like you talk about clutch performances. Like Earl has always been Mr. Clutch. And, again, I'm like you, I'm going to enjoy watching him at Miami, and then whoever is fortunate enough to be in position to draft him after that. Like he's going to play basketball for a long time.
I second that.
Oh,
I,
yes.
I don't know 1/100 as much as Coach does, but that guy's combination of physical and mental toughness is like I've never seen before.
So rounded
At the high school level.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the toughest dude in the court. That's very evident right away. And we've seen him, like you said, for 3 years, and he hits big shot after big shot. Regular season against St. John's, we did a game the year before last. He took over the third quarter. I mean, he's got that ability, and man, you see him out there. He looks like, I'm telling you, he looks like a little bit like Chase Young.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got that
Well,
physique,
and he's really embraced just who he is. Like, so Jordan Hawkins transfers into DeMatha, and in preseason, Earl guarded Jordan every single day. Like, he literally would, like, the only way I could get it to not happen is if I put them both on the same team. Like, if Jordan was on the other team, Earl was going to guard him and basically make his life a living hell. And to a point where I had to say something to Earl, like, "Hey man, like, let's build him up some too." And he was like, "Coach, I got to get him ready. Like, he doesn't know what the WCAC is. We've got to get him ready for that." And I was like, "Yeah, but like, I need him to like want to be here too, man." Like, I mean, because Earl doesn't have an in between. Like, if he's out on the court, he's going to compete 100%, and there's nothing you can do about that. And again, like, we all saw what Jordan Hawkins is capable of doing, and his talent deserves that. But a lot of that is because his teammates made sure that he was going to get a crash course in how tough the WCAC is. And Earl was right at the front of that line.
Just asking for a friend. Do you only shop at the 6'5" guard store? Because I don't know. I've never. It's like unbelievable to me that you only have 6'5" and taller guards, and I don't know where that store is.
Two guards.
Yeah, 6'5", 2 guards, and I'm like, maybe one of my maybe I can do something with that information.
Yeah, well, McNamara will be all right. They got some players over there too. So no, but hey, we're blessed. We like everybody else. I don't think anybody in our league is hurting for talent. That's just the blessing we have being in this area and being in the DMV. But again, just like I'm sure any other coach will tell you, I wouldn't trade my guys for anybody. And for the Tyrell Wards and the Jordan Hawkins and the Will Reynolds, the Anthony Perrys, those guys, and we got some younger guys coming up, Tyree Davis and Aaron Roberson, that are going to be guards that are, 6'4", 6'5". Like it's something that's a luxury for us, but them being able to play against each other every day doesn't do anything but help them be ready for the next level.
So and you never want to trade a 7'2" guy. I mean, who would ever do that?
No.
And honestly, I for the first time this year was able to watch Hunter take over a game and absolutely dominate. He looked fresher at the end of the season. He looked fresh throughout the whole season. I really think he stepped his game up certainly from a year ago, from when I saw him play last. What a luxury to have a guy that not just 7'2". I mean, he can shoot the three. He's an incredible passer. Just talk about his impact.
I just think the biggest thing with Hunter is, obviously everybody sees his size.
Mhm.
His IQ is like I don't, again, other than maybe a point guard, Terrell Allen, and guys like Nigel Munson, I don't know if I've had a guy with such a great IQ, understanding the game. Like Hunter, like, sometimes he gets a little overzealous with like what he sees, and this is what he knows needs to happen. But I mean, he's rarely wrong. He'll see when a team is getting ready to do something. Like, the passes he made out of the post in the championship game, because he knew exactly where the double team was coming from, and he knew exactly where to get the ball, to one of our shooters. He did that so well. I can't say enough about him. And then, like, I have to give him a tremendous amount of credit. Like, and I'm sure a lot of people see it, but they don't necessarily understand it. Like, he gets the crap beat out of him
Oh yeah.
every single game.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I don't envy referees because it's hard to officiate Hunter.
Mhm.
Like, next year, it's going to be so much better because he'll be playing against guys that are way
Right.
more closer to his size. Like, he'll be able to foul a little bit more or be more physical, let's say, without it being called. But it'll be even. Like, it's I don't know if the last time Hunter's been refereed even. And it's some would say it's not fair, but he's handled that so well, and he's definitely shown frustration at
Mhm.
times. But he's handled that like none of us could allow other men to beat the crap out of us and us not react to it. And for him to do what he did pretty much all season long without just like totally losing it is just a credit to him. And, the fact that he really just wants to win.
Well, I can remember being one of those guys that beat up Rasheed Wallace when we played him back in the day, and he was not happy with me, coach. He was not happy with me at
It's a
all.
nice little name drop there.
Well, just hold on. Well, did we win? Tim?
No, they were number one team in the nation. We lost by 6, but it,
All
it,
right,
it was one of
because
the most fun games I ever played in my entire life.
so I'm in a group text. Well, actually, Darren is in the group text with us, and one of the guys in the group text is Rashid. So
Really?
um, I'm a little mad that you told me that because now I can't talk trash to him.
No,
So
no, no. No, we weren't that good that year. We were the one team. What is he? 41. This is Coach Morgan Wooten, which we'll get to in just a second. He was 41 out of 42 years, more than 25 wins, less than 10 losses. That one year was that year. So that
wow.
I had the honor of being on that team. Um,
Well,
to segue to that, by the way, and to make it get serious for a second now. This isn't a Roy Firestone moment, although I'm gonna have trouble holding it together.
Yeah, don't you do that to me.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You and I both played for Coach Morgan Wooten, and you also studied under him. Just in your own words, talk about the impact that his death had on you and the team and the school, and how sweet it was to be able to come out on top and at the same time.
It's only right that we win this year, and obviously, it's not like we tried harder or anything like that, but it did allow us. I think the biggest thing, and I've obviously been asked this question a few times, the
Hmm.
biggest thing it allowed us to do was, all the things that we were doing already that were basically from coaching, from coach's program, we were able to talk about it a little bit more
Hmm.
to where I think our guys were able to, first of all, they could see the impact that coach had on pretty much our entire coaching staff because we all played for Coach Wood, save for one coach. But I think it was able to allow us to basically teach even more poignantly with our guys. Um, the why do we do this mind candy or thought of the day every day?
Hmm.
And why is it so important? And like, making sure that all of those thoughts that, we're talking about how this applies to the game of basketball, but understanding that all of them apply to life as well. It was truly, it just made it so much easier for our guys to feel some type of connection with coach.
Hmm.
So many of them kind of grew up and coach would, exercise around the track, around the top of the gym, sometimes during our practices. So it's not like they didn't, get to see him and, even sometimes have interactions with him. But, just you feel like your kids got cheated a little bit because they didn't get to get coached by him.
Right.
And just like when I came to DeMatha, I felt some type of way because all my teammates had coach for history class their freshman year. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had another history teacher who was a great teacher, but you know, any reunion you go to, there's Coach Wooten history class stories, and I can't contribute to those. I feel like I got cheated out of a little bit of the DeMatha experience, and like I kind of feel bad for these guys and now everybody that comes after them because they'll never really have that opportunity to be taught and mentored and kind of guided by him because it was truly something that is just priceless.
I get asked all the time when I tell people where they know that I played for Morgan, and they say, "What was it like? What was it like playing for him?" And I always say, to wrap it up quickly, is he was a Hall of Fame basketball coach, and he taught me more about life. That says a lot about him, and I still to this day use so much that he taught me off the court. What are some of the things that some of the top things that you still employ in your everyday life that you learned from Morgan?
Just being prepared. I would say that's something that is part of my everyday life. Just preparation. Coach. Who knows what Coach did when he was at home by himself? But I know, the fact that Coach wrote out a game plan for every game, wrote out a practice plan for every practice. There was never a practice that there wasn't a practice plan for, even if it was just
To the
60
minute.
minutes and you only were going to do 2 drills. It was written on a piece of paper
Yeah.
and how much time you were going to, you were going to spend on it. So, like, he truly taught me how important that is because no matter what, the kids knew that coach had done work before practice. The other coaches knew that coach had done work before practice. So I would say just something that's a part of me every single day is just the desire to prepare and to make sure you're always ready for whatever the situation is.
Well,
Both champion. I was just gonna say both championship coaches on the weekend were
that's
DeMatha guys from Coach Wooten. Were you thinking the same thing?
I have it written down here, and
Yeah.
Frank,
I
yeah.
love Coach's his quote. It was only right. It was also only right that Frank Oliver got his first on that night as another guy that played for Morgan Wooten. It just it kind of just summed it all up real quickly. As a guy that went to Metropolitan Area Basketball School, whose dad worked at St. John's, and I got that perspective. And it's an interesting perspective for us St. John's DeMatha guys. We worked this camp for sometimes 4, 5, 6 weeks out of the summer
Mm-hmm.
with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like there was another school really involved. Now, every now and then, a couple players would come in, and coaches would get some guys,
Yeah.
but essentially, it was DeMatha and St. John's guys, and I've always kind of taken that little bit with me. He was out there trying to make sure I was getting better, whether it was pulling me aside at a drill or making sure I had a guy coaching me like a Mike Jones, or making sure the next week I had a St. John's guy, and Tracy Bergen would pick me up full court in staff games. That was. I mean, that made me better, but that wasn't exactly making the team I was coaching too proud of me. I'm like, this guy, it's like an all-star lunch game. But we always had that perspective, and it was like, it was a rivalry, but there was a bit of a brotherhood there. We went up against each other, and obviously back then DeMatha was at the top of the pile, but St. John's was right there nipping at their heels, and we had a couple battles back there when we were in that era. I watching all this, I know what a great man he was, but to be able to be around him just at my level in the summertime, Coach Jones was talking about him not being able to go to his history class. You know what I mean? Like, we all wanted that big piece of him. And you know what? I felt that. I felt that this weekend at that tournament. A lot of the conversation happening off the court, coach, as you very well know, were about Coach Wooten. A lot of people kind of went there, I think, to heal a little bit. Mm-hmm. This particular tournament this year had a lot to do with Coach Wooten, as does everything else going on. So it was only right, Coach. I love that. I'm going to steal it from you. Only right that Mike Jones and the DeMatha Stags got their title, and Frank Oliver got his first. I think that was pretty special. That was one of my favorite moments of the tournament, understanding that's what happened.
It was pretty cool. So actually, this past Sunday, there's a big tournament up in King of Prussia, right outside of Philly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so myself and one of my assistants drive up because a couple of 8th graders that we're looking at were playing in the tournament. And one of the first people we see up there is Frank Oliver, because there's girls teams playing there too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there doing the exact same thing that we're doing. And one of the first things he talks about is, obviously congratulations, but then it reminds him of when he was at HD Woodson and we would see each other once a year at the city title game. and DeMatha would win and H.D. Woodson would win the city title. And he was like, hey, just like old times. So it was pretty special, I think, for both of us to also share that day of championships together.
Yes, and two class act coaches having that conversation makes it even better. It's not like one of you guys is messing around. No, both those guys are absolutely great conversations, great guys to be around, and great for the kids, which is what it's all about, guys.
Did you know, Mike, that I coached Frank Oliver at the Metropolitan Camp, and I awarded him Defensive Player of the Week, and he said he learned all of his defense from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our response too.
Damn.
That was our response as well.
He said my technique was perfect.
Let's give.
I knew he was quicker and faster.
Credit though. Give Strachan his credit. Like I told Tim's heard me tell the story when I was in college and we came back to watch DeMatha play, and Dwayne and Vaughn were on the team, and like DeMatha, I'm sitting here hyping my college teammates up about how good we are and things like that, and both of them left that game. My two classmates left that game saying that Tim Strachan was the best player they saw on the court, not Dwayne. And that's
I now owe Mike $20.
Was that the annual Seton scrimmage that you guys were at?
Oh.
Actually, it was against St. John's.
It was against St. John's.
Yeah, T can play, man. Now, I grew up with him. I played with him all over the place. Mike, there's one stat though. He never beat me at 1-on-1.
That's not true.
And I think,
I would never, ever admit that's true.
It's 100%
that is absolutely
true.
Not true.
It's 100% true.
That is 100% untrue.
Strachan, I got your back on that. Like
he's only saying it, Mike, because I'm in a wheelchair now. I can't prove it.
Yeah, but if basketball
that makes me a sick guy.
You're the worst
then
person
he'd
ever.
have an argument. Yeah. But since there's 9 or 8 other players on the court with you, it's not just the two of you guys.
Very true.
How many games did y'all win then?
I was not a great one-on-one player, mind you. Obviously,
was.
not at my size. One-on-one was not my thing. I was dribble, drive, dish. Trust me.
So yeah, we'll settle that some other time, some other way.
This is the first time you've ever denied this in public.
That's not true at all.
Oh, well, we'll keep this argument going for
your
another
$20
40,
is in the
50
mail.
years.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much for that story.
Hey, Coach, I want to say on behalf of the basement and certainly on behalf of all the folks who follow the WCAC, thank you, not just for being with us here tonight, but for making the WCAC a classier place by the second. Even if that blue suit never comes back, I know you got something coming up behind it that's going to be even fresher.
There'll be another blue suit.
I'm pretty excited about that. I don't even know. I don't even know what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations. Enjoy whatever off season you allow yourself to have. You deserve it. And congratulations to all the fine folks associated with DeMatha. It's an awesome title, and it's certainly going to be one we remember for the rest of our lives. I know I will.
I appreciate that. Our season's not over. Obviously, we still have some games to play, and to be honest with you, I'll enjoy it for a few days, and then it's on the USA basketball prep because we got to win a gold medal this summer. So
yes, sir.
It will not end. Fortunately enough, Steve Turner from Gonzaga is now part of our junior national team coaches program, and we're actually considering 1 or 2 other area coaches to join the program as well.
That's awesome.
Which is I think just a true testament to the great basketball here in the DMV. So,
and not just the great basketball talent in the DMV, but the coaching and the level of class and what you guys do for the kids. I mean, it really is, and that's what I was going to tip my cap, Coach. You've been doing it a long time. I've been watching it forever. There's nothing you can say. You run a class act, standard, grade A program, and all these kids that we got to talk to, obviously, it rubs off. And, we're just happy that you get to share some of your time with us at this time because I know it's busy as hell right now. But congratulations to you this year. I know you deserve it. I remember you walking off the court in the semis last year, and I remember you just had that look in your eye that said, you know what? We're gonna go get one next year. We're gonna run the table. And dang, you almost did. And that's a huge deal in this league. Congratulations, unbelievable season, unbelievable coach. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach. And we all, as far as we're concerned, you are Coach of the Year. No matter what happens, good luck with all of that. Good luck with the gold medal. Thanks for being here. I can always remember my freshman year, the way you treated me. You were so nice to me, and I always looked up to you. I love the fact that you loved my Nike pumps. You came over and wanted to know about them. But ever since then, man, I've been a fan of yours. And thanks so much for being here. And again, congrats, man.
Appreciate it, Tim.
All right, Coach. We'll be seeing you soon. We do owe you a night in the basement, and that just consider that an open invitation. We can't wait to have you. And but until then, be safe and take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to get us out of the WCAC show tonight, and I'm just going to start at the end. T, you get to go first. Favorite moment of the tournament?
Oh man, there was so many great moments. You know, I don't know if I can find one, but I will say the way that Earl Timberlake took control of that game, and he didn't just do it by scoring. He did it with defense. He did it with assists,
Manliness.
with strength, with grace. Just watching him do what he did at the end of that game to secure the win was pretty amazing.
I'll never forget it. What do you got, Kevin?
After watching Hope Evans impact the game on the defensive end with her on-ball pressure, then come over as graceful as a young lady could possibly be just to say thank you. And you had the wherewithal to put the headsets on her. And we got talking to her a little bit, and I said, you know, in all the years I've watched, anything I've ever seen, I've never seen a better on-ball defender or someone impact the game as an on-ball defender on the defensive side in a game of this magnitude ever watching WCAC basketball. My three sisters all played in city titles. I've been there. I've done it. And to see her face light up, she thanked me, "Thank you, sir," and then gave me a high five. And I was like, who is this person? This is so cool. That was a great moment for me to see the classy young lady from McNamara that just came over to say thank you, get what she properly deserved. And no, she's not a role player by any means, and she works her tail off to be as good as she is. And she's got to be in tip-top physical condition to just not like go into it, just to say a big smile and a big high five thank you. That was my moment.
All right. That's a good one, and I didn't realize we were going to have two McNamara moments. But we've had the privilege of being in so many gyms in the WCAC for tournaments, for home games, and multiple sports. And I always love seeing the students get up for their schools, and it's the greatest. And the schools in WCAC do it great, and I just take a special amount of pride in the fact that McNamara put that team together. And they filled up that American University gym for the most part with McNamara fans. I mean, it was a McNamara home game in some respects because the maroon and gold were out for that girls' championship. That was so cool. It was loud, when the McNamara girls came on the floor. And, everyone does it well. And that was the first time for First Amendment Sports when we showed up to a place like that. And the Mustangs, were rocking the house. Shout out to the Paul VI student section who throughout the regular season and into the tournament had just crazy good fan section game. And we got a chance to meet some of the guys, some of the proctors or teachers at Paul VI who work with them, and they put it together. I mean, they're organized and they dominate, and so hats off to them as well.
Yeah, they said we do practice.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, just while we're getting there, Frank Oliver came over. What a really nice guy. Just what a cool guy to be
We got to
around.
get him on.
Super positive.
Yeah, we're going to get him on.
Obviously well knowledgeable about the game, but you know what? So carefree with his time. He just won a championship. He came over and sat down.
He was
I was going to tell him to stand up, but then I was like, you know what? He's been standing up for about 3 hours.
yeah.
Let him sit down and enjoy this.
No one was bothering him. We were talking to
Nope.
Madison Scott. He had the headphones on, and he was like, maybe people just think I'm talking to them, and they won't talk to me.
I was trying to get out of his way, get
Yeah.
over. I was trying to figure something out. But between Maddie Scott, Yanta Vaughn, and Coach Frank Oliver, with Hope Evans, that's all the four McNamara basketball family that came over to talk to us. Are you kidding me? Like, just what a great quality of human being. Just great kids with an awesome coach. And that's why we show up. This is why our kids are going to go to these schools. This is why this conference means so much to us. But it's really a payback when you get to hear from them and hear what type of class and what type of human beings they are. It's just such a bonus. You get in your car and drive home and you're giddy. Yes, it's the best basketball tournament on earth. We know that. But to kind of get to know these guys and understand that they're really cool people, great family members, and awesome kids, that just wraps it all up for me, man.
Another moment, I saw Madison Scott walking by right before one of her games. I said, "Hey, good luck tonight." She goes, "Oh, thank you, and thank you so much for what you guys do for us." And I was like, "Oh, That was
Yeah,
kind of nice.
I mean, they just hit
that
it
was
out of the
really
park.
nice.
We merely point out the obvious.
She's getting ready to go
Yes.
play a really important game, and she wanted. She took the time to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, thank you."
Class
so
acts.
thank you, Maddie. Appreciate it.
That's so cool.
We are we're done with the Hardwood for the season. We'll close that chapter. An awesome second chapter for First Amendment sports in terms of basketball. We are opening up another spring season, guys, and we're going to be hitting the lacrosse field hard, potentially as early as next week. Stay tuned. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button that's on the bottom of your screen for First Amendment Sports, you'll get notifications. We do intend to bring a solid slate of WCAC and local lacrosse games this spring.
Unofficial score: 12-7 St. John's over Prep tonight. Georgetown Prep.
Yep, St. John's.
Just brought you our first update.
There you go, and I know they were up big, 10-4 earlier in that game, and that's two huge programs.
Georgetown Prep has beaten Paul VI and one other national team.
Oh yes,
crushed
Yeah.
them.
Georgetown Prep is a very
perspective there.
top program. As is
St. John's is young. They had
On the up.
They apparently played an extremely well played game.
the St. John's
They're
program
gonna be good, man.
this isn't. They've arrived. They arrived well before this season.
2 years ago,
They officially arrived 2
they-
years
they
ago. They were in the
stamped it.
finals
Yeah.
last year against Gonzaga. Gonzaga, who was kind of the consensus #1 team in the entire region,
Yeah,
and
they
one of
were
the
loaded.
top rated
Yeah.
programs in the country. We're going to be bringing Gonzaga Prep on March 13th. I can tell you that right now. We'll be at Georgetown Prep on March 13th. It's a Friday night. That's going to be two nationally ranked high school lacrosse programs. We'll have Prep in Landon. We'll have Prep in Bullis. We're gonna be down on I Street for Paul VI, and I think Bullis going down there. We're working on putting together a St. John's game because the WCAC lacrosse, whereas it was kind of a second fiddle to some of the lacrosse in the region for a while in the past. That's not the case anymore. The WCAC
It's
is
been landscaped.
yeah, the WCAC is absolutely doing now in lacrosse what it's been doing in all these other sports. And again, it's doing it on the boys and the girls side. It's a joy, and we'll be bringing it to you. We are committed to getting to St. John's for a baseball game. Friend of the show, Mark Gibbs, who we've been talking to. We're just going to have to figure that out because we keep saying we're going to do it. Mark wants us to do it, and I want to do it. I calling a baseball game to me sounds like a great time. I apologize in advance. Turn the sound down. You know, it's gonna. You think the
No,
bass
actually,
is
turn it up because take me out to the ballpark. Who knows what's going to happen in there's 3 hours?
Exactly. So hang out with us for yet another season of amazing high school sports, and come back in about 5 or 10 minutes when we get on a little thing we called Thank God It's Tuesday, and it's going to be primarily Redskins talk. We're going to mix in a little bit of Nets and a little bit of Caps and a lot of fun. Until then, again, 10 minutes. He's Tim Strachan.
Hey, congratulations to all the seniors. Good luck to you going on. To all the kids that played, boys and girls. To all the coaches, an awesome season. Really appreciate it. And again, always remember, stay rounded.
And
He's Kevin Ricka.
And I'm just going to say one last thing. I know you said we were done with the Hardwood, but not until the final seconds. For a tight bit of perspective,
Buzzer beater.
Gonzaga boys won the DCSAA, St.
Yes.
John's girls won the DCSAA, and Paul VI boys and girls swept the VISAA, Virginia Independent Schools Athletic Association tournaments. So basically we have the state of Virginia, the state of Maryland, and the nation's capital on lockdown. And
So awesome.
everyone just wins every other tournament. That's why what we did last weekend was the epitome. And we call it. Hey, we have the best teams from Maryland, D.C., and Virginia right here, right in our
Looking
conference.
forward to that Alhambra tournament coming up.
And yes, and to all you basketball players till next season, and you lacrosse players, baseball, and everyone else playing in the spring, till next Tuesday, be a good sport.
On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I am Ken Marangolo, and this was the WCAC Spectacular. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Back in 10. Still alive, guys. Andrew Vines is on the horn tonight.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
What's up?
That's great.